Hey everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my January TBR. So I don't normally film without makeup except in reading vlogs, but I already filmed this video once and the audio got lost or something. It was like glitching. So I was like, let me just refilm it without makeup. It's fine. And plus, I kind of need to film it like quickly because I know that my spins that I'm going to get for my spinner wheel are going to be completely different. So I don't know what I'm going to be reading this month. So I really just wanted to refilm it as quickly as possible. So no makeup for today. But as I said, I'm going to be continuing my spinner wheel that I started in the past couple months into 2023. The amount of spins that I do may vary. I have not decided any punishments yet, but that may be coming within the next couple months. And then also I have given myself one pass for every single month in case I land on a prompt that I don't want to do or anything like that. I do have one pass every single month. Before we get into the spinner wheel though, I just want to talk about my book clubs really quickly. I've always talked about them first. So the first one is Swoon Sisters, and we are actually taking a hiatus in 2023 because Nicole, my co-host, is having a baby in like February. But we do still have our December pick because our live show is going to be January 8th, because normally we do the first Sunday of the month, but because it was the first of the year, we decided to push it back to the second weekend. And we are reading Make a Scene, and this is a Boxer Baker black romance that's like fake dating. So it sounds super good and I'm really excited to read it, and it seems like it's going to be like just like super sweet and fun, and I'm really excited for it. And my other book club, Stacks of Strange, we actually took a hiatus at the end of 2022, and we are going to be bringing back the book club in 2023, but more like in a quarterly type fashion. We haven't worked out all the details, but it'll probably be more like quarterly, and we haven't decided a book pick yet for the first quarter. I'll probably read it in like March or something, so it's like fresh for the live show. I just wanted to say that because I know some people have been asking where Stacks of Strange went. So this is future Deja popping in because every single month I'm supposed to go over the spinner wheel prompts for last month to talk about how I am doing with them, because I want to do that, but I completely forgot to do that earlier. And also, if you hear noise, my roommate is drying her laundry. Nothing I can do about it, but I forgot to do that this month because I'm not in like the habit of doing it yet. So I'm just gonna be popping in to tell y'all how I did for the prompts for last month. So last month I did 5 spins. The first one was for a fantasy, and for that I chose Jade City, which I actually did not read. So this is still one I have to read, even though I was supposed to read it in 2022. Then next I had a book recommended to me, and Sarah from Sarah Shelves recommended me Jackal, which I did end up reading, and I gave 4 stars. Then the next one was Book Off My Own TBR, and for that one I chose Magnolia Parks, which I also gave 4 stars. And the next one was to finish a book I already started, which was It by Stephen King, and for that one I believe I gave it a 3.5 stars. And the last one was a holiday romance, which I chose The Mistletoe Motive, which I believe I gave 4 or 4.5 stars. And I don't have any like readathons that I'm participating in January, but I am kind of doing like a challenge for myself where basically I'm just going to be focusing on NetGalley arcs. Obviously I can read whatever I want to, but I do want to have like a bigger percentage of my reading this month to be NetGalley arcs, because in 2022 I did not request a ton of books, but I didn't read like any of them. So the books that I did request are just sitting there bringing down my NetGalley score, and I still embarrassingly have some from 2021 as well. I got rid of most of them and said that I wasn't going to review them, but some of them I am still interested in and I do still want to read. So I was like, you know, whatever, I'm just gonna really focus on trying to get through those books this month and hopefully throughout the rest of the year. Because of that, I'm going to be trying to get some of those NetGalley arcs on this TBR, and I will probably be filming a NetGalley reading vlog since I'm already going to be doing the challenge anyways. I'm like, might as well make some content out of it, so I probably will try and film a reading vlog for that where I will talk more in depth about the other books that I'm going to be reading, because I don't know how many I'm going to get on here. I'm probably going to do 6 spins, but it kind of depends on if I get any books that I've already read this month on my TBR, because I've already read 3 books this year, and so if I can work any of those 3 into the prompts, I definitely will. Okay, so here is my TBR wheel. I have updated it for 2023. I added in some more prompts, and I might be adding some more prompts in the next couple months, just if I think of any, but also I have some plans, so we'll see. But we are just gonna start off with the first spin. You can't even see the prompts because there's so many. That's so funny. So, recent purchase. So most of the books that I've gotten recently have been gifted to me, but I did buy some books I think in like November or December. So the one I'm going to be going with this is Penpal. This is a horror, and I believe this originally started on like Reddit, and I think it might be like Slenderman-esque, I'm not sure, but all my friends have loved this horror. Like, everybody's given it 5 stars, absolutely like have adored it. It's one of their favorite horrors of the year or of all time, and I would never originally be like drawn to this cover or like Slenderman or whatever, but all my friends literally love this. Like, I've never heard a bad word about this book, so I bought it and I'm gonna try it out for myself, so hopefully I enjoy it as well. So now we're gonna go on to the second spin. We have a young adult book. So for the young adult prompt, I decided to go with 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This is one that I've actually already read since the start of the month, so I'm not going to get into my review, but this one is a thriller from Holly Jackson, and I loved her A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I'm in a Discord for my friend Haley, and everybody in there has been talking about 5 Survive, and there was a buddy read of it at the very beginning of the month, so that's really what pushed me to pick it up, even though it wasn't originally on my radar like that. But it follows like 6 different characters that are in an RV. So while they're driving, one of their tires goes flat in this really like rural area. There's no cell service, and so they replace a tire, but then they realize that all 4 tires go out, and they figure out that they're actually being shot at, and this person that's shooting at them says that they have some sort of secret that one of them has that they need to know. And so it just kind of follows them as they're trying to escape or figure out a way for them all to survive. But obviously it's 6 people, but 5 survive. Okay, so moving on to the third roll. So for roll 3, I got new author, and for that I'm going to go with Vanessa Jared's Got a Man, and I have never really read anything from this author or heard about any other books that they have written, but as you can see, I have a physical arc of this, and I do have the arc on NetGalley as well. And my friend Mayana, this was on her favorite books of the year, and so I really want to read it. Plus, I absolutely am in love with this cover. I have no idea what it's about. It says, a once again single city girl is picking up the pieces of her life when her past returns with a vengeance. Suddenly, she is thrust into the middle of a small town family drama featuring her no good ex and an unexpected second chance at love with someone new. So basically, it's a second chance romance, but with someone new. So I don't think it's with her ex, but then it's like small town vibes. So I think that this one is going to be a great pick. Moving on to the fourth roll. We got Enemies to Lovers. I literally spelled enemies wrong, but it's okay. So for the Enemies to Lovers prompt, I originally looked at my 23 books to read in 2023 because that also includes my 12 challenge, and multiple of my friends recommended romances to me, but none of them were Enemies to Lovers. So I looked up recommendations videos on YouTube, and I found one that I physically own, and it was recommended by Madison from Princess of Paperbacks, and I don't know how it's an Enemies to Lovers. I just saw it, but this is King of Battle and Blood. I almost dropped it, but I know that this is a fantasy romance, and I think, yeah, Vampire King, and the main character is going to marry the Vampire King but wants to kill him. So it's very much is giving Enemies to Lovers, but I do really like this idea of like paranormal mixed with fantasy that really came about with like From Blood and Ash type era. So since I physically own this one, I'm adding it to my TBR because that's another thing, is I'm trying to get through the books that I physically own, which is why I brought such a ridiculous amount of them with me back to college, because I was like, if I have them with me, maybe I'm more likely to read them. And then the crazy thing is that the first 3 books that I've read this year I don't physically own, but you know what, it's okay. So moving on to the 5th roll. We have a novella. So the one that I decided to go with this is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes. I obviously love Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. It was one of my favorite books of 2021, and I have not read this new bind up edition with the other extra stories, so I would like to read this because I just love Erica Rocca, and they're gonna eat every single time. So I think this would be such a nice reread, and to read the Other Misfortunes. We love new stories from Eric, you know? Moving on to the 6th and possibly final roll. So we have Book Off Someone Else's TBR. So I guess I'm going to try and find someone's TBR for the month and choose one of their books to put on my TBR. And I'm definitely going to try and finagle it to, you know, find something that's already kind of fits what I want to read. So this was really easy, but Rachel from A Raven Haired Reader, she put Ninth House on her TBR, and I really do want to reread Ninth House so I can also read Hellbent either in the later half of January or in the beginning of February, because I got it from Book of the Month and they are sending it later. It's like a pre-order. They've never done that before. But Ninth House I have right here, and I do want to reread this, so I'm going to add it. So these are really the books that I do have to read, because the sixth book I did already read, so I think I'm going to actually add one more because I am reading quite a lot already this month, and it's the beginning of the semester, so we're gonna try and do one more because these are addicting for me. I just love to keep spinning. So, oh, we have a NetGalley arc, and for this one I'm going to go with Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. I do really want to read more of Jennifer Hillier's work, and this one I had as a NetGalley arc, and the audiobook is just about to come in from my library. So this is what I'm going to do because it came out in July of last year and I never got to it, so I think that this would be a great time to finally get to it. And I have no idea what this one is about besides that it's by Jennifer Hillier, and I loved Jar of Hearts, so I want to read it, obviously. So I'm surprised we didn't have any skips this month. Normally I do take advantage of that little one skip that I give myself, but all the prompts turned out to be pretty good. There are some really general ones on there, and then there's also some really specific ones on there now, so I definitely would have taken advantage of it if I got something, especially because I have like Read Classic on there. Like, girl, what am I gonna do? Huh? Read War and Peace? No, I don't think so. But these are the books that I have on my TBR for the month, plus 5 Survive, which I have already read, and then also Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. So it's definitely not that bad of a TBR. I don't think it will take me too much to read all these, but I'm actually really excited about it. It has good variety. It has a horror, a contemporary romance, a fantasy romance, some more horror, and then a dark academia fantasy, and then 5 Survive is a YA thriller, and then Things We Do in the Dark is also a thriller. So it's pretty good variety for the genres that I enjoy. So it's Future Deja back again because I forgot to mention one book, and normally I'll just leave it if it is just like a random book that I need to talk about in my TBR, but since I was sitting down to go over my TBR from last month, and since I was already filming this clip, I decided to just pop it in here. But one other book that I do really want to read this month is called Repugnant by Judith Sonnet. I read For the Sake of by Judith Sonnet in 2022, and it was one of my honorable mentions for my favorite books of the year. It was in my top 15, and Judith actually offered to send me this book because she originally published it in 2021, but she edited it and added in new content and created a new edition that she's calling the Goddamned Edition, and it's gorier apparently, and so she offered to send it to me to review because it just came out towards the end of December of last year, the new edition. So I do plan on reading this one in January. It is not super long. It's around like 300 pages, and I believe it's about a serial killer, and one of his victims is coming back on Halloween from the dead, and she wants to kill him before she can't anymore, and she's like back dead or something, I think. I'm not 100% sure on the synopsis, but when I read it I will definitely let y'all know more about the synopsis, as I do with most of my books, or at least I try to. You know, me and wrap-ups don't really agree, but I'm gonna try and do better in 2023 about my wrap-ups. I also wanted to talk about the books that I am going to be reading from my 23 books to read in 2023. This video is going up before that video, but it should be the next video that's going up, so I'm not going to get too into all of the books on that list because I don't want to spoil that video. But I will say that Pen Pal is one of my 23 books, and then I also am doing the 12 challenge, which is 12 books recommended by 12 friends in 12 months, and 12 of the 23 books are those books. So I'm not doing like 23 plus 12, I'm just doing 23, and 12 of those happen to be recommended by friends. So Pen Pal is one that I just chose and is in my 23 challenge, so I need to basically read 2 a month, and so I do want to try and read one from the 12 challenge as well. And I think for this month I'm actually going to go with We Spread by Anne Reid, because as I was talking about with Haley's Discord and Patreon, this is her book club pick for January, and I normally don't really participate because I'm just bad at book clubs that aren't my own, but since I just got this one, everybody's hyping it up, I decided that this is going to be the one that I read this month so I can participate in that book club as well. I really do love everybody in that Discord and in that book club, so I do want to be able to interact live during the live show. So I'm also adding this one to my TBR. I know I forgot a lot of things to mention in this video, and I'm having to pop in, so I'm sorry about that. I just have a bad memory, and with classes starting back up, me back up being an RA and everything like that, my brain is just a little fried. So I'm sorry that I was forgetting some things, but we fixed it, we solved it, we popped back in. And now I'm gonna send it back to Pastasia so she can wrap up this video. And so I'm really excited to read these, and then also I do need to read the book for Sue and Sisters. But that's all that I have for this video today. I hope that y'all enjoyed, and if you've made it to the end of this video, leave a little snake emoji for my reread of Ninth House, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye everybody.